what's going on and welcome back to the channel. Well, as you can see from that intro, I have officially kicked my wife out of the garage and we're gonna be having warm weather starting from about today on. There's only lows in the 40s and the highs are gonna be like in the 50s and 60s for the next 15 days. So I kicked her out and we're gonna start on the caddy. I got everything moved over, got everything situated. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do as far as I'm in a time crunch right now, so I think I'm just going to lower it in the rear and in the front and worry about tearing some things apart and redoing them later. Going to get to the brakes. As I jack things up, I noticed somebody has cut the emergency brake cables, so that is a good indication why it doesn't work in the cab. That's just something I didn't notice. It's the same thing on the other side there too. And if you look, what I thought was kind of cool, even on this truck right here, right there, that piece right there, of course I don't have a light, hold on. That piece right there, you see that there? That is a proportioning, whoops, I have to put the light in the way. That right there, that's a proportioning valve, so as you put more weight in the truck, it applies more pressure to the rear brakes and I guess just helps out for a heavier load. Alright, that's better. In the midst of trying to get everything readjusted and refocused and everything else, my battery dead, so I had to go back in and change it. Alright, going on. I'm kind of in a time crunch right now. I was going to pull everything out and paint the axle, paint the leaf springs, all that stuff. But the more and more I look, there's some more rot in these floor pans than what I thought there was. So this thing is becoming more and more of a project than what I had anticipated. But you know, that's the name of the game, and that's what I kind of like to do. So anyway, right now I'm just going to go ahead. I'm just going to lower it in the rear. I'm going to lower it in the front. I'm still searching for some tires and wheels. These are a 4x100, so they're a pretty common size to put on here. I think the Civics run them, if I'm not mistaken. So, like I said, I'm still trying to find some tires and wheels. We're going to try and put 17s under it, but those really probably aren't going to fit. It's probably a pipe dream, but anyway, gonna get started, and it's already 8 o'clock. Pull this side off, start on the brakes on this side, pull that spindle off. I do have bearings in here someplace in this mess back in here of all the parts and stuff. So I do have bearings in there that I gotta replace. I got my lowering plates over there for it, so we're just gonna kind of get at it and get to work. Like I said, this comes apart just like a trailer axle. We got a cotter pin that just broke on there, and then it's got a captured nut. Just pull those out, pull that cap off of there, and then you can just spin this nut on there. Just put a little bit of, see, not much pressure on them at all. Got a washer over the bearing and keep all that stuff. There's the outer bearing there. We're putting all new bearings in it, so I do not need to keep those. And that's basically all there is to it about taking the brakes apart. Pads aren't in real bad shape. One of my things was about checking the wheel bearing. I'm sorry, not the wheel bearing. Checking the wheel cylinder. Wanted to check those, but I will leave the other side together so I can kind of go back and forth and make sure I get all this put back together the same way. Now I'll just go through. I bought all new springs and installation kit also, so I don't need to save anything as far as that. Well, I shouldn't say that because I have not opened up the kit yet either. So I'm going to continue on getting this side tore apart and go from there. Alright, as you can see, that comes apart pretty quick. Now I need to take and these 4 bolts out here, and then this plate will go in its place, and then that will all mount up on top of there. Alright, with the rotor, not the rotor, the rear brake assembly out of the way, I have it hooked to the spindle here and then chained up to hooked up to the body here. I need to put one of these plates in. The bolts are supplied, so I'm going to put some Loctite on them. They are a socket head bolt is what they are supplied to go with them, and these come from CKW2. Online, Greg Zorn. I am going to use red Loctite because that's all I have, and I really don't want it to come apart, so. Alright, with those on there, you can reuse your factory hardware, and these are adjustable. They have settings from, I believe it's 1 inch to 3 inches. We're going to go all the way up to 3 inches, but I'm going to have to take the wheel cylinder line, the brake line off, and run it up and on the top side of the axle because there's not enough room to get it on there. So and then reroute my brake line on the top side of the leaf spring. Alright, so that's one way to lower the back end of one of these. Like I told you before, the other way was to do the axle flip, but I wanted to pursue and do it this way. Originally I had decided, I thought I was going to do the axle flip, but you can see here the space that you do not have. Once you take this axle and put it on the top side of the springs, right here's the bump stop right here. There is just no room at all whatsoever once you do that. So I'm kind of glad that I decided to go ahead and do the spindle raise, drop, whatever you want to call it. Basically, I'm raising the spindle to drop the truck. So up is down and down is up, essentially. Looking at this wheel cylinder, I don't know if I'm going to have to get a new one or not. Everything's moving pretty good. So I think it's going to be all right. So we're just going to go ahead and run it. And everything moves back and forth pretty good, so I'm happy with that. So I'll just grab my brakes and put this side back together and probably call it a night. All right, I got the passenger side back together. Ran into a little bit of issues there. The rotors, I keep saying that. The drums are too small. Those are like a 5-inch or a 6-inch, and the rotors are on here are considerably bigger, so I need to go back to O'Reilly. I ordered those from O'Reilly a while back. Hopefully I can return those drums and get some new ones. I just put everything back together the way it was. I've got new bearings. I actually had the race pounded in and the seal pounded in. I went and put it on, wasn't even paying attention, and they were the wrong size. So I did get everything out, got the race out, no big deal. It doesn't fit in there real tight, just had to pound it out. But you can see the difference. We're gonna go over to the other side and measure too. We're right there to the inner fender. Looks like we're sitting right about an inch and 5/8, inch and 3/4 to the top of the tread right here. So we'll go over to the other side. Come over here, Jonah. And you can see that is a huge, huge difference there. We're sitting probably about 4 1/4 inches to the top of the tread right there. So you can see the considerable difference. May need to take and lower that axle back down, but for right now, we're gonna run it the way that it is. I think my pipe dream of putting 17-inch wheels on this is pretty much null and void. You can see there, I can't put that tape measure in there like I did the other side. So these tires are a 175/70/13. I was probably gonna try and stay with like a 195/50 is what I'm gonna try and fit on there, and go with like a 15 or a 16. We'll just kind of see. I don't know what I'm gonna be able to fit under there, but right now I'm just kind of looking on Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, just for some used stuff that comes up. Looking for like a BBS style. I don't know. BBS makes a lot of different kind of wheels, but more like a honeycomb type pattern is what we're looking for. I'm not really certain. We found a lot of them that we've liked, and a lot of them have sold before we got a chance to get there, or just haven't had that extra money to go and get them. I had a stupid mistake that I made. I backed into a van a couple of weeks ago, and versus turning it into my insurance, there was only about $530 worth of damage. I paid for it out of pocket, versus turn it into my insurance, like I said, and making my premiums go up. So, you know, that cost me $530 that I could have put towards tires and wheels on this. So, funds are running just a little bit low with everything else that we purchased for the truck. So, just trying to get some things accomplished before the 27th. Like I said, I was going to tear out the whole axle, clean it up, paint it, and do all that stuff. But for time crunch purposes, just doing brakes and lowering it. Gonna get the front lowered and all the bushings. Like I said, we got the Raceland coilovers. I've got Fast Bunny strut cups coming, and I've got front brakes and pads over there. Hopefully I got the right rotors up front. We'll check those before we take things apart and put them back together. Just my stupid mistake. You know, I'm human. I make mistakes. Everything else is right. It's just the shoes themselves that's wrong. So, not the shoes. The drums are wrong for this application. So, I'm gonna put those back in the box. I even have them painted. So, probably gonna try and strip that paint off there, and hopefully they give me credit back for them. I don't know. If not, then I'm out more money there. I don't think they were too terribly expensive. For all the brakes all the way around, I only spent $175, so that wasn't real bad. I can't remember how much the rear drums were, but gonna have to have some new ones. So anyway, just wanted to get that back together, give you guys, now none of this is really tight, it's just kind of on there. I can see I just have 2 lug nuts holding it. The nut is just loose inside there, and then the other side is still put together. I never even tore it apart because, like I said, when I'm doing brakes, especially drum brakes,
on a vehicle, I always leave one side together so I know how to put it back together. Now they are flip-flopped on how they go back together. They will be different. You just have to kind of do a mirror image. Yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about when you put that stuff and take it apart. So anyway, I do appreciate you watching. Hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And we'll talk to you guys later on. Bye-bye.